Yo, yo, yo. What's good with y'all, man? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? Hope you guys doing good today, man. Let me play some music, man, to set the vibes before we get into some good news today. Wait, I think I got me music on here. Hold on, here we go. Now that sucks. Hold on. Here we go. Wait. Wait, let's try this. Hey. Who is ready to get into some news today? Some really good stuff, man. I'm excited for you guys to join the show. Welcome to the Loreverse. Okay, it's your boy Stevie Hayes. Let me stop playing around. Please like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you know when we post. We're live on X, we're live on YouTube. If you want to follow me on either of those, hit those follow or like subscribes. We also are on Apple Podcasts and we are on Spotify. Just type in Loreverse Live and you'll see what we're doing over there. So we are on some really good platforms, and I'm excited to get into the news today, man, and talk about kind of what's going on with just the freaking nerd world, to be honest. So obviously today the title of the episode is Frodo and Gandalf are back. Okay, so this is actually really wild, and so the boys are back, man. So Ian McKellen, he was on the panel, and here is what he talked about. He said, I hear there's going to be another movie based in Middle Earth, and it's going to start filming in May, right? He said it's going to be directed by Gollum, talking about Andy Serkis, and it's all about Gollum. But I'll tell you two secrets about the castings. There's a character in the movie called Frodo, and there's a character in the movie called Gandalf. Apart from that, my lips are sealed. And I watched the whole video on this, and the fans went insane. And so here was also, some things that Andy Serkis said about the Hunt for Gollum movie. He said, we've been talking about the film for over the course of last year. We're about to start a period of prep in the next few months or so. We will be shooting in the early to mid part of next year, I guess, and then it will be as long as it takes to shoot, all ready for the December 2027 release. And here is what the movie is about, if you don't know what the Hunt for Gollum is. So the Hunt for Gollum refers to the period in Middle Earth's history after Bilbo Baggins finds the One Ring and before Frodo begins his journey to Mordor with the Fellowship. During this time, Gandalf, right, he basically becomes really suspicious about the true nature of the ring Bilbo has and its connection to Sauron. And fearing that Gollum might reveal information about the ring's whereabouts and its power to Sauron, Gandalf sends the ranger Aragorn on a mission to find and capture him. So, look, it's pretty standard story. Pretty excited to see it, but let me tell some of my thoughts, right? Bringing Frodo and Gandalf back is obviously a big W. And look, if you are a Lord of the Rings fan, then you most were assuming that they were probably going to come back. I thought possibly I didn't really think recast, but if you're not an idiot, right, you assume that they were going to come back. And they are legendary, and this is going to get fans, in my opinion, to rush back to theaters. I've had fears about Andy Serkis directing, though. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, because he directed Venom, Let There Be Carnage. And if you guys don't know, I despise all of the Venom movies. I really do hate them all. So it you know I still am a little so. But the thing is that Peter Jackson is obviously working on these. He's the producer of this movie, so under his tutelage, I'm pretty sure that they'll do something right. With having Peter Jackson in the room, they should be fine. And I'll say this though about movies like this. One pattern that I really hate with these movies is that we want to do all these movies 20 and 10 years down the road, man. And we always do these things when these characters are so old. And I wish that someone, has the thought, to do these movies right after The Hobbit, so we aren't waiting all this time until the actors are freaking dirt old, And this is the one thing about these movie franchises that piss me off is that, like, they sure know how to lose their momentum, man. Like, you have these really good movies that you drop and then you take these long breaks. It kind of sucks. I wish that we could get, consistent content every 2 to 3 years. Like, this movie could have came out not too long after The Hobbit, and I think it would have still been, big. But maybe in their defense, maybe it took a while for the actors to, maybe they were still, talking behind the scenes about the actors coming back. Maybe there were other business inquiries going on. Don't really know. But all in all, I'm happy that, that Frodo and Gandalf are going to be back, and Aragorn. I think a lot of his fans are going to rush to theaters in 2027 in December, and it's coming out during Christmas time too. Perfect situation for it to come out during Christmas time. So this is going to be the Christmas movie in December 2027. So Everybody should be excited about this. Everybody should be happy about this because I darn sure know that I am. So this is some good stuff. All right. Next thing now, wanted to talk about the lanterns here because this had me a little tight. I ain't gonna lie. I was a little mad about this. So we're gonna look into some lantern stuff. So the showrunner, Greg Chris Mundy, did some yapping. And I am the type of person where whenever someone says something, I take every word they say to heart when they're talking about a project that I love and that I'm excited about. And I really give, stuff like this really, really, like just really deep thought. And so let's talk about what Chris Mundy, the showrunner, pretty sure, yeah, he's a showrunner. Let's see what the showrunner talked about. He says this: we're not part of a larger storytelling plan right now. Season one is designed to be its own complete season of television that hopefully will become many seasons of television. Okay, so that's what he said right there. Now let's talk about all of the things that we know about this Lantern show, right? So Lanterns will be a live action TV series, right? Centered around two Green Lanterns, Hal Jordan and John Stewart. We all know that, right? You see them on my screen right here. They look great. These are not confirmed costumes. I just want cool art next to it. Now, this story is described to be a detective story similar to True Detective and Slow Horses, according to Wiki. And the plot involves two Green Lanterns investigating a murder mystery in the American heartland. And the tone is expected to be dark, gritty, and grounded. And it's going to be a departure from the traditional superhero fare. And here's the cast that we have. We have Hal Jordan, played by Kyle Chandler. We have a veteran who is a veteran Green Lantern approaching retirement. We have John Stewart, played by Aaron Pierre. He's a new recruit and he's being mentored by Hal Jordan. And the other characters that we have Kelly McDonald as Sheriff Carey. Garrett Garrett Dillahunt as William McCone, who is a modern cowboy. We have Jason Ritter as Billy Mackin. Okay, he's Carrie's husband and William's son. We also have a person named Porna, or the actor is Porna Jaganathan as Zoe. We have Ulrich Thompson as Sinesho. I'm really hyped for that. We have Nicole Ari Parker as John Stewart's mother, Bernadette, and Nathan Fillion reprising his role as Guy Gardner from the film Superman. So this is some pretty cool stuff. I mean, the fact that we're getting John Stewart's mom is American Heartland where John Stewart is like originally going to be from in this? Not sure, but here's some of my thoughts on this stuff. I do think it's a stupid idea to say something like that because I think this is mega dumb because you need your characters right now, aka the Green Lanterns, to have a big role in this universe. So obviously, this show, right, is in the DCU, but the reality is it seems like this show isn't going to reach the larger DCU. And the question that I have is like, if that's the case, then why is Guy Gardner in it then? You know what I mean? Because obviously this show is placed in the DCU, but is Guy Gardner going to give us a connection to the greater? Are we going to see the Justice Gang pop up, or is it just going to be Guy Gardner? Like those are questions that I have in kind of, in kind of regards to lanterns. Like how important are the lanterns, actually going to be into the larger view? Or because the way that Chris is talking, this is just like a one-off show, where you don't know if you're going to get a season two, so that there's going to be a cool ending. But I don't think that's enough. You know what I mean? Because right now we need all of our characters, and like any character that pops up in the DCU right now, they need to pull their weight in their aspect and in their universe to expand the DCU forward. And I'm not going to say that I doubt this project because I mean I don't, right? I just don't like what Chris said here because I think that you can do a standalone story while pointing to the greater DCU at the same time, to where like you're not sacrificing your story to push the DCU forward, but you have a good story that also pushes it forward too. And I also, wasn't the largest fan of them doing an Earth-based murder mystery story. You know what I mean? When you're doing Green Lanterns, because personally, the DC content and live action has always been Earth based. I want space, I want galactic, I want intergalactic stuff going on. I want to see them fly into different planets in the orbit, and them have conversation in space. And I've seen some stuff to where we are possibly going to see them in space. But I hope that this just isn't a show where like we spend like 4 or 5 episodes with them out of costume, walking around an old Western town using their rings. I'm not going to be a big fan of that, because growing up in the CW era, right? there were some really good things in the CW era, but one of the worst things in the CW era was the fact that freaking, John Diggle, who was supposed to be a Green Lantern, the only shot we got of him was when he opened up this box and then there was a green ring and that was it. And I've been dying to see some Green Lantern stuff for the longest time. So I hope that they don't shy away from it, and that we get some cool Green Lantern stuff. There was a set photo or a set video that was leaked, and apparently they were doing flight tests for the Green Lantern characters, and apparently, and that stuff looked cool when I saw it. So I hope that we get to see some cool stuff like that, and that this isn't a show, as I said, where they're just walking around the street in costumes, but they use a ring for time. No, 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 don't be afraid to get nerdy. So I hope that's what they do. I'm not the biggest fan of what he said, like the fact that Batman isn't probably going to be here for a while. I think you need to dive into all of the elements that you have and really go for it. That's what I would probably say. I really want, the DCU to go for it in everything that they do. So, that's why I'm expecting a lot more out of the DCU in general when it comes to stuff like this. So what he said didn't make me happy. And if they aren't, not pointing to the larger and greater DCU, is that because, the next project is going to be a movie, so you're kind of stopping it there? Or are we just going to keep rocking out with these TV shows? I mean, those are some questions I had, man. Like, and how high quality is the show? Because I mean, it is on HBO. HBO is known for having high quality shows. Like, I expect the quality of the show to be next level. You know what I mean? Not like CW, obviously, but like Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon type of quality show. So yeah, I can't wait till we get a freaking trailer for Green Lantern, and so we can get a kind of a graze of what we're going to see here. Hungry Armani, what's up, man? Hope you're doing good, man. He said, I wouldn't mind if we get 3 seasons of Lanterns for chapter 1 of the DCU. That way we get enough Hal Jordan before moving into chapter 2, where we get a Green Lantern movie with John Cal. I wouldn't be against that either, bro, just as long as they don't shy away from them being Green Lanterns. And I don't think they would do that. I really don't. But this whole Western murder mystery town thing is scaring me a little bit. Because like a part of me, thinks that there's like there has to be some alien activity going on with this murder mystery. Obviously, I don't think it's a metahuman thing. It's an alien thing. I just hope that we get to like see like them like going to different planets, collecting clues and stuff like that. Like that would be awesome to me. You know what I mean? So we'll have to see what happens there. But I'll be super excited if if they dive into it and go super hard. That'll be fun. All right. Now, next thing here, I want to talk about a couple of MCU stuff because there's been a lot of theories going around, and obviously we did a really big one talking about the whole Captain America thing, right? So, as I said, there's been a lot of theories going around about Doctor Doom and Avengers Doomsday. And so obviously we talked about last week, right, where Doctor Doom wants to kill Steve Rogers because of him going to be with Peggy Carter, called apparently some type of rift in the multiverse. And so there's another part to this rumor that I just heard like not too long ago that I wanted to add to this and give you some of the theories that's going on. And as I said, I'm going to do a really big video summarizing all of my theories, but I kind of want to want to plant some seeds here. So the other part is that apparently Doctor Doom's reasoning for all of this. And so the main reason and rumor, right, why Doctor Doom does this, or the main reason why Doctor Doom is on this multiversal conquest, right, is because apparently Doctor Doom knows the truth about the MCU and all of these other Marvel Earths, like the ones that we've seen in 838, the Fantastic Four Earth that we've seen, all of that stuff. And so basically, Doctor Doom knows that the MCU is not the definitive 616 Marvel universe. And if you don't live under a rock, right, we all know that because, but apparently there's a 616 universe where there was the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and the Avengers team all on this earth where everyone coexisted. And apparently Doctor Doom is trying to restore everything back to the way it was. And so that he could rule over it, but also so that this like type of reasoning could possibly make him the hero, but not just the hero of the story. He's going to be the ruler of all of these characters because that's the way Doctor Doom works. When Doctor Doom finds an answer to something, he's not just going to freaking tell you that he's right and that you should do it. It's always going to end with him being the most powerful one in the end because it's Doctor Doom. He's a power hungry guy. So I think adding this to the story, right, it makes Doctor Doom way more interesting because now the question that I do have is, does Loki know the truth of what of this? Does Loki know that that the MCU isn't the actual main Marvel timeline? Is is this what He Who Remains was also hiding all of this time as well? And this makes, Doctor Doom's multiversal conquest mean so much more to the actual story, because this kind of reminds me of the One World Under Doom comic, right? Where basically some of the heroes, right, were trying to make Doctor Doom seem like this just one dimensional bad guy. Everything he does is evil. He's trying to do this, do that. But when Doctor Doom explains his reasonings for a lot of things in the world under Doom, in the One World Under Doom comic, I mean, you got to say some of his reasoning is valid for why he did the things that he did. And I see a similar thing happening with Doctor Doom in Avengers Doomsday. And I think that giving Doom valid reasoning makes him the hero in the story, to where some fans that love MCU content, right, it's going to make sense why Doctor Doom did the things that he did. Because what if we see a scene where, like Doom is watching everything that has happened in the Loki show, and he knows the truth of what's going on, and maybe this revelation, right, of this whole entire idea that, oh my gosh, this is not the way it's supposed to be. That could really turn some heads. I even saw some people online, and I'm not taking credit for this thought, but like some people are even building up, the thought of like, in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, when he heard about the Fantastic Four, right? He said, didn't they chart in the 60s, right? And the Fantastic Four movie that we watched is set in the 60s. All right. And then also when when Spider-Man and Spider-Man No Way Home was talking to Toby and Andrew Spider-Man, when he said that he was in the Avengers, one of the Spider-Men said, "Aren't they a band?" And so now people are trying to say that, like, that there's possibly this, this pairing up of a sorts, to where, you know, they were supposed to be on one Earth, but everything got jacked up and everything got kind of convoluted, and maybe Kang the Conqueror is responsible for that, and maybe Doctor Doom is going to try to fix that thing, which I think would be cool, because they're going to reference Kang the Conqueror, but also it's going to point to Doctor Doom trying to solve the problem. And and I mean, and even look at what Thanos did, right? Even though Thanos might have had a valid point that the Earth is too populated, his way of going about it was super evil and super crazy. So, I think that I think that possibly we could see a similar thing with Doctor Doom, but a whole lot worse, with a whole lot greater of implications, because this isn't just, the universe being wiped out. These are planets being destroyed. Billions and trillions of people dying to incursions and to all types of crazy multiverse stuff. So yeah, I think that I think as fans, if this is true, we are onto something. We are really onto something. And as I said, I'm working on theory, but new rumors keep coming out every time that's making sense. So we are trying to add things together. But this movie so far, based off of these leaks slash rumors, are freaking insane. The director did say lanterns will go intergalactic in the show. Yeah, I do remember reading something like that. And as I said, I hope that we get to see a lot of it, man, because so much DC content, bro, has been so earthbound, and I'm sick of being on Earth, man. I'm sick of being on Earth. I want to go to space, and that's what's the same way I feel, and that's why I can't wait for Supergirl, because we're gonna head into space. Even though, as I said, I'm not the biggest fan of that movie coming out second, I am hyped that we're going to get a space story. All right, when Kevin Feige said that Secret Wars is a beginning, not an ending, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the rebooted Avengers in the movie. Yeah, and think about this, bro. Right, if Doctor Doom is right about this thought of the MCU is not the 616, and look, if you don't live under a rock, you obviously know the MCU was never, excuse me, the definitive 616 Marvel universe, because there was no X-Men, right, and all that stuff. So the way, like, that idea of Doctor Doom realizing that and using that as a plot point in the story, and you're using Doctor Doom to using Doctor Doom's craziness to, in truth, to literally rebuild the Marvel universe, to have an X-Men, to have all of these characters. It's genius. It's genius level work. You know what I mean? And this was also a rumor when Kang the Conqueror was at the helm. So I wouldn't be shocked if they kept like an element of of that story. And I also think that, as I said, it would just make the stakes way higher. And with having the whole Steve Rogers thing being a cause into, the multiverse kind of cooking itself, it makes the story even more insane. And now we're going to get Steve Rogers back and all the, I mean, bro, they are, if this is true, man, we are in for a treat, bro. We are in for a treat. Now, next thing up here, while we're talking about Avengers Doomsday, Clea is also rumored to be in Avengers Doomsday. So one of the leakers out here, they posted a tweet and they said, "Don't trust Clea," and everybody went insane on the internet. And now this makes things that's very interesting about her because this idea of Clea, right? She could really work in Avengers Doomsday. And, this works in the movie, obviously, because she's connected to Doctor Strange. And remember, Clea is the Sorcerer Supreme of the Dark Dimension. And she's also one of the most powerful sorcerers in Marvel, general, and obviously in the MCU. If you're a Sorcerer Supreme of the Dark Dimension, you're OP. That's just the fact of it. Now, I do think that it's possible that she should and could not be trusted. And I think that if she is evil, I'm lagging. Sorry, guys. So, had a quick lag. And I think that if she is evil, I could see her in a situation where she's working, under or for, Doctor Doom. I could totally see that. I even had a thought, or let me say, I have like some of my working theory on Doomsday that's constantly evolving is that, Doctor Doom could have been pulling power from the dark dimension, and Clea could have made some deal with him that, that when he makes his move, she can be, like he can take out Dormammu and maybe she'll have full power and she'll be ruler over the dark, dimension, which causes her to go and bring Strange with her to do some stuff. And also, as I said, we also have to look at Doctor Strange, because I don't think Doctor Strange is going to be super heroic in this, because he right now is with Clea, and he's probably traveling the multiverse, seeing so much happen. We also got to point to the fact that Clea is a baddie, right? And that Clea is a love interest for Doctor Strange, which this could be perfect, because Doctor Strange is already emotionally vulnerable. Like if you take a look at the end of Doctor Strange, right? He was pining for his old chick the whole freaking movie. And even though he got closure, he's still in his bag. So with her influence on him, this could be the perfect storm to put Strange on Team Doctor Doom, and him not even know that he's, complying to really be with someone super evil. And so this is what I want to tell you guys about Avengers Doomsday. Don't expect Doctor Strange to be on the good side, in this movie, because I am not. And as I said, this kind of stuff, y'all, this gets me really freaking hype. You know what I'm saying? This gets me really hype because with the working theory that Doctor Doom knows the truth about the MCU, what if Doctor Strange finds the truth as well? And what if he allows the multiverse to collapse because he knows this has to happen in order for the Marvel universe to be restored to what it actually is supposed to be, which is a full Earth and multiverse with, like I said, the X-Men, Fantastic Four, the Avengers, Spider-Man, etc., etc. Similar to Endgame, right? We all know that Doctor Strange gave up, he gave up the stone, and Tony was like, "Why would you do that?" And Doctor Strange had a deeper meaning why. This could be a similar thing to where he just sides with Doom in this instance because he knows what needs to be done, and that's Doctor Strange's character. Doctor Strange will turn on you if he knows that the ending will result in a win, because Doctor Strange will do anything to win. If you take a look at Doctor Strange 1, right? When Doctor Strange broke his hands, what did he do? He did every single surgery possible and kept coming up with different ways to try to repair his hands, because that's who he is. He will sacrifice everything to find the answer, or to get to the right answer. So this fits right into the theory, and if Doctor Strange turns on them, this does fit right into him, really as a character. So I want to move some topics up. We're just going to knock out all MCU stuff right now, and while we're still in Doomsday, we're just going to knock out two other Doomsday topics. I want to talk about Sue Storm. Okay, so let's talk about what Vanessa Kirby talked about in regards to Sue Storm. So Sue Storm's transformation in this movie. So the film is going to explore the emotional and psychological aftermath of Sue Storm's death and resurrection in Fantastic Four First Steps. According to MovieWeb, Kirby considered how experiencing birth, death, and resurrection would change a person, right? And so to prepare for the role, Vanessa Kirby has been listening to people who have had near-death experiences to understand what they learned from them and how they are transformed. Um, she also expressed that she's very happy to be continuing the character, saying, "I love that I get to continue with Sue because it's so interesting." And she hints that fans will see a different Sue Storm in Avengers Doomsday. And she also talked about our DJ saying, he was the actor, saying that, she referred to him as their leader in the Godfather MCU, etc. So I wanted to talk about this idea of Sue being affected after the death of Franklin and where this could lead into the whole multiverse issue here. because everything to me right now, at least in my head, and y'all can call me crazy, but everything seems to be connecting in my mind. Okay. And I'm going nuts thinking about this stuff. So think about this. Sue coming back from the dead in Fantastic Four, coming that she is dealing with things inside of her. Okay. And, I'm going to theorize on what she just said. What if Franklin resurrecting her from the dead was not supposed to happen, and maybe that could possibly be causing an incursion on her planet? And because we still don't know why Doctor Doom showed up at the end of Fantastic Four, and yes, it was for Franklin, but we also have to factor in other possible reasons why he is there. And so this for me is super exciting to hear that there could be a possible deeper meaning to this and seeing how this unfolds. Now, how could I come up with the idea that this could cause an incursion? Okay, because obviously an incursion is based on two worlds colliding, right? But also, like, I think that Sue Storm coming back from the dead, I don't think that was supposed to happen. you know I think that defies what was supposed to happen. And what if the possibility of Sue Storm you know coming back from the dead is causing some type of incursion to happen? I think that would be insane. I also have another thought about, like, what if the incursions are inevitable because none of these heroes were ever supposed to be on these earths? But that's like a topic for a whole other day where I'm like digging deep and just yapping. But think about that thought though, y'all. Like, what if Sue Storm's death had a greater effect on the multiverse, which caused Doctor Doom to actually show up? That to me sounds insane. That to me does sound insane. So yeah, I think that there's a lot of going on with Sue Storm. We just don't necessarily know it yet. Now, let's talk about Brand New Day. Spider-Man Brand New Day. Pull this up. So, Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now let's talk about how Spider-Man Brand New Day is setting up the Hawk for Avengers Doomsday. One second, pull this up. Do I have this on here? One second, let me pull up my stuff. Okay. So we're going to read this here about the Hawk. So it says Spider-Man Brand New Day will reportedly set up Bruce Banner's Hawk's role for Avengers Doomsday. Now, I thought that when I first heard about the Hawk being in Doomsday, I was very interested, because of the fact that, as I said, I'm a big Rage Hawk fan, I like I wasn't against Professor Hawk at first. I thought Professor Hawk was super cool. I thought it was a good. I thought it was a really good change from the Hawk that we've seen. I kind of got a little tired of Angry Hawk. I'm not gonna lie, because like bro was acting like a 4-year-old, and I get it. That's how he acts. If you watch the animated shows that, like, the Hungry Almighty swears by to, and which I think are really good, that the Hawk acts like a child a lot, and so it made sense. But Professor Hawk to me was a really nice change. But the reality is they held on to Professor Hawk too long, and it got annoying. We saw him in She-Hulk and all this stuff. Him popping up in Shang-Chi was annoying. So a lot of people were, even myself for a moment was like, why the heck is he in here? Why the heck is he in Doomsday? And so, or not Doomsday, why the heck is he in Spider-Man Brand New Day? And so obviously there's the rumors of maybe the symbiote is messing with Bruce Banner, which I think is cool, but that's not really the reason why I'm interested in him being in Avengers Doomsday. Because I think that Bruce Banner or the Hawk, I don't think we're going to see any Bruce Banner in this movie. I think that we are going to see like a death to Bruce Banner in this movie, and it's going to be straight Hulk. I think we've gotten so much Bruce Banner that they're not even going to reference, like, they're going to obviously try to get him to turn back, but I don't even think that we're going to see a shade of Bruce Banner in this movie. And I think that's honest, and I feel like it fits the theme of what Spider-Man Brand New Day is looking to be. I've said before that I wanted Spider-Man Brand New Day to be a movie where he's so obsessed with the mask. He's so obsessed with being Spider-Man, right? That, like, he just wants to be a hero 24/7. He wants to be saving people. He wants to be in the mask. MJ's not there. Like, Ned's not there. He's alone. Aunt May's going. So what else does Bull have to do other than be a hero? What if that's the same thing for the Hawk, right? Obviously, he's not being a hero, but what if for the Hawk, Bruce Banner's gone and he's just back in Hawk mode and he's smashing and he's going crazy? Same thing with Punisher. Punisher got locked up and then he ended up escaping. And we're going to get that Punisher special before Spider-Man. So we're going to see what's really going on and how the Punisher special is going to push him to be in the Spider-Man movie. I wonder, right, what all that stuff means. I wonder what is going on. Because I do think the symbiote is involved, but I want to know, how did the Hawk, if he does become the Angry Hawk the whole movie, how did he get there? And I don't know if we're going to see a lot of background on that about how there might be some like reasoning that Peter Parker might find out or something like that, maybe some research. But something has had to happen for him to crash out. Don't know what it is, but we're going to find out why. So yeah, I am really bro. Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to be insane. Now let's talk about another topic in Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is Sadie Sink here. Now I still don't know who the heck Sadie Sink is playing, but a leak came out talking about Sadie Sink is going to be the ally to Peter Parker. So let's dig in that. So that's what reports are indicating, right? And this suggests the idea of a supporting role within Peter's journey, rather than being a villain or an antagonist in the movie. However, the specific character she'll be playing remains unconfirmed, and there's several theories and rumors. So let's go over the theories. The first and most popular one is obviously her playing Gwen Stacy. There's a really strong rumor based on a lot of insiders, and her casting as a prominent redheaded character fuels a lot of the speculation about her playing Gwen, giving her obviously popularity in both comics and in the animated Spider Verse movies. A lot of people think she could be Mayday Parker, aka Spider Girl, and this theory is tied to the expected exploration of the multiverse in the movie and the possibility of her being Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's daughter or a future version of Peter's daughter. Some people also say Mary Jane Watson, right? Some speculations suggest that Sting could portray a variant of MJ, and other characters, less prominent rumors like her playing Firestar, Rich Cole Abs, or an entirely new character, or freaking Jean Grey, right? There's no official confirmation on who she's going to play in Spider-Man Brand New Day, and I think my personal opinion, I'm going with either MJ or Gwen Stacy. I mean, what other character could you see her playing at this point? I would love the idea of Mayday Parker though. Mayday Parker. I love the idea of her being like Toby's daughter or his future daughter. I just don't think they're going to pull that off. In my opinion, I just don't think they're going to pull that off because the multiverse has such a bad taste in people's mouth. But if I was doing the movie, I would make her Mayday Parker, and I think that would be super fun. Because I still think you can get a Spider-Man story where he's the main hero, he's the main guy, but then you have Mayday Parker pop it up. I think that would be fun. Would you guys think that would be fun, or do you want her to be just like Gwen Stacy or Mary Jane? I know like some people want Spider-Man to be his own man, to be the only Spider character. This is the multiverse, bro. This is the multiverse. We have a whole trilogy of him being his own man. So I would love the idea of her popping up as Mayday Parker. I wonder what you guys think about that though. But to me, that would be super fun if we got to see something like that. All right, next thing here. Let's talk about Mr. Kingpin, okay? So, check this out, guys. So, industry insider Alex Perez, he suggested that Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin could face off against Tom Holland's Spider-Man in a future MCU Spider-Man movie. And this is there's potentially a mid or post-credit scene tease in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Vincent D'Onofrio, who portrays Kingpin in the MCU, he has stated that Kingpin's appearance in the MCU films is complicated due to the rights issues. We all know that. And he mentioned that Marvel can use his character in TV shows, but not in movies without Sony's approval. We all know that. And there's certain Spider-Man rights that Marvel Studios owns that Sony doesn't have, vice versa. Now, Kingpin's rights are seemingly shared between Marvel. Now, let me just break down how this all works, okay? So, Kingpin's rights, right, are seemingly shared between Marvel Studios, who can use him in TV show projects like The Daredevil, and Sony, who hold the film rights for Spider-Man related characters. Now, the right situation currently makes Kingpin a cameo in Brand New Day, right? Or a future Spider-Man film. Or let me just say this. All right. With the situation in the rights, right? With the whole rights thing, a cameo is very unlikely. Okay. And despite the right difficulties, it's worth noting that Charlie Cox's Daredevil, who is another character heavily associated with Kingpin and the Netflix shows, he did appear in Spider-Man, though. He appeared in Spider-Man No Way Home, suggesting that maybe some flexibility might possibly exist. But also, D'Onofrio's most recent comments indicate that the plan with Kingpin having face off against Spider-Man, which hasn't changed according to some sources. I don't know. Maybe they don't. Maybe they want him to do it. Maybe they don't. He then stated that it was difficult to see Kingpin appearing in Spider-Man Brand New Day, because, as I said, because of ownership issues, and this creates a lot of conflicting information. So the potential future of this is some fans, remain super happy and thinking that he's gonna pop up, and some think that he isn't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Kingpin is popping up in Spider-Man Brand New Day. If they're going all out with the Punisher, we'll look at the web slingers and the costume. Kingpin's going to pop up, bro. There's no way he's not. And I think Vincent D'Onofrio being Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to be one of the craziest things ever. And, people want street level. There you go. Whole trilogy on it. And having Kingpin as the big bad of Spider-Man is insanity. Even if he's one of the big bads and the whole, maybe there's multiple big bads. I'm not sure. But having Kingpin moving, the needle politically and from a crime boss standpoint, dog. Y'all know how much we're about to eat right now? With the possibility even maybe Daredevil popping up in the Spider-Man movie. How about that? With the Punisher popping up in Spider-Man, I mean, it's only time. It's only but time that Charlie Cox is going to pop up in here and cause some. Yo, oh my gosh. Imagine Charlie Cox Daredevil with Spider-Man in the Spider-Man movie. What if he pops up in Brand New Day? Like, anything's possible, bro. They're cooking right now. So, Kingpin popping up in Spider-Man trilogy, the new one, that's going to be legendary. And fans are going to love it and eat it up, and so am I. And, I can't wait to see it. So, I hope that it happens, bro. That would make me happy. Now, let's get to Harry Potter for a second, man. So the Harry Potter set photos came out, and I'm pretty sure you guys saw it already. We got some nice looks from on the set. We got a really good look at Harry and Hagrid. So just to let you know, Hagrid apparently is 7'2", so he's a little shorter than the OG. But I also think Hagrid looks perfect so far with the set and looks. As I said, they look like they're landing everything with Harry Potter. We also got a look at the Weasleys too. They also look amazing. I think this show is going to be super special, and I really can't wait for this. I'm working on a video on like what do I think they should keep in Harry Potter? What do I think they should take away? Question for you guys though, for the Potterheads, do you think they should change the music or not? John Williams, legendary music maker, created this music. The only person I think that can make something just as iconic as Giacchino, however you say his name. Do you guys agree, or do you think they should keep the same music as or maybe tweak John Williams' song a bit? I'm not sure, but I think they should keep the same music. I don't think the music should change. It's such a staple in the Harry Potter lore. But then again, they changed Batman songs. Star Wars songs have never changed. And it works. Like people hate the sequels, but no one complained about the music. So I wouldn't mind if they kept the music the same and rocked out that way. I think that'd be super cool. But look at him, man. He looks amazing, bro. He looks great. They are really killing it with these looks. And these 90s styles. I mean, Harry's little 90s style jacket. By the way, this kid looks so much like Harry Potter. It's actually insane. They're cooking, man. I can't wait to see it. And then last topic of the night here, okay? I want to talk to you guys about Cruella. Cruella. Okay. Last topic before we get out of here. So, this is about to be a long one. So we're finally getting rumors about Cruella coming back. I'm going to tell you everything we know. Let's talk about the confirmed stuff. Emma Stone will return as Cruella. She's officially closed the deal and ready to reprise her role. Craig Gillespie is expected to return as the director. I'm pretty sure he's filming Supergirl too. Mark me if I'm wrong on that. But he also directed the first movie. Tony McNamara is expected to return as the writer. He also co-wrote the screenplay for the original, according to Digital Fix. A sequel is officially in early development. That was announced in June 2021. We haven't heard a lot since. Maybe they stopped it because of some stuff going on. But here's some other rumors, right? They are the returning cast: Paul Walter Hauser, Joe Fry, Kirby Howe Baptiste. A lot of those people are coming back. Now, let's talk about the plot speculation here, right? The ending of the first film set the stage for a sequel, with the Baroness vowing revenge on Cruella and potentially orchestrating a plan involving the Dalmatians gifted to Roger and Anita. One possible thing is a continuation that explores, the Baroness's attempts to get even with Cruella. Another idea for the sequel is to explore the origin of Cruella's hatred for the Dalmatians, or even a different interpretation of the 101 Dalmatian story from Cruella's perspective. The story approach is maybe it could serve as a combined prequel / sequel, kind of like The Godfather Part 2, exploring both of the Baroness's backstory and Cruella's new adventures. This could also allow for the potential return of Glenn Close's Cruella alongside like an Emma Stone's version. So I think that you do the Dalmatian story from Cruella's perspective. I think that's the way you go. The same way that they're possibly doing a Hercules movie, right, from Hades' perspective. I think that's interesting. I think with Disney villains, you need, like, Maleficent was such an amazing movie because we got to see a story happen from her perspective, and it made the movie 10 times doper. I think you do the same thing with Cruella, and you do it from her perspective. I think that'll be very interesting. Not sure what you guys think. But I think that'll be pretty cool, right? So, I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight, man. I really enjoyed talking about this stuff here today. We got clips going on every day, all that stuff. But I want to give you guys a few updates here. So, we are doing a Spider-Man ranking episode soon. Probably next Tuesday. We are going to rank all of the Spider-Man movies from worst to best. Okay, we're also going to do the same thing for Batman movies. We are definitely going to do the same for Superman movies, and we're gonna do a Captain America one. We are going to really do a lot of top 10 or top 5, whatever, best to worst movies. And if you guys want to join me on the show when we do those episodes, like if you want to join this Spider-Man one that we're doing next Tuesday, hit me up. And I would love to have you on, and I would love to see your Spider-Man rank from best to worst. And I might have a guest on too. I might grab some friends to jump on. So hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hope you guys enjoyed all that we've talked about. Please, please, please like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. I got content going on every day. We have lore stuff, we got new stuff. So please enjoy the content. Please have a wonderful day. Peace out. Stay crispy, y'all.